Hi, my name is Dylan. If I seem a little nervous this morning, well, this is our first podcast. Welcome to 20's Know It All, and damn it, we sure do. Today, for our first show, we are going to be talking about M. Night Shyamalan. Has he returned? With The Visit. And for those of you not seen it, if you like crazy horror, gory movies, this is not for you. This is not a slasher flick. And if you saw the trailers like I did, whenever you hear the grandma say, "Honey, get into the oven," that's like as funny as that sounds. There's almost like this trepidation to it because you're laughing at like how weird and scary that is, but that's almost the genius behind this movie. Is the fact of the matter is you're laughing and scared at not what you normally see on screen to be horror. It's the awkwardness of growing up and sort of having to deal with sometimes the weird shit your parents or grandparents would say. I mean, I want you all to think back when you were a kid or whenever you were 12 or 13 and you had your grandparent or parent say something that just kind of made you go, ha ha ha, ha, what the fuck was that? Because that to me and to a lot of people is kind of the genius behind this movie. That's where the horror and sort of the comedy of The Visit come in. Now normally doing a horror comedy movie is a fucking disaster. It does not work. It is not possible. Either the direction, the dialogue, etc., etc. But from what I heard, M. Night. My source is Chris Stuckman on YouTube. If you don't know who Chris Stuckman is, he does a lot of video reviews. I want you to go on. I want you to go on YouTube and look up Chris Stuckman. He is a huge M. Night fan, and I've been following his YouTube channel for I'd say about 2 years now. And he explained, and I read some of his sources that he posted, that M. Night made this movie completely out of all on his own. He had no studio backing. He had no studio money. This was technically an independent film, and this is where shit gets even weirder. He made this movie not even knowing if a studio would pick it up because of his most recent shitfest that was After Earth. By the way, quick side note on After Earth: there are now rumors coming out that seem to that are getting some traction that it was actually Will Smith who directed, and all M. Night did was do the scouting locations and pretty much set everything up and then kind of said, "All right, Will Smith, go." Which, to be honest with you, with how bad After Earth was, it wouldn't surprise me if that was actually Will Smith's directional debut and he needed like M. Night. But that's another story. Anyway, so The Visit. The Visit is about this movie where these two kids meet their grandparents for the first time. And their grandparents hadn't talked to their mom in 15 years. And there's this big part of the story as to what happened. There's this big falling out. I'm not going to spoil anything. There will be no spoilers. And they're like, okay, well, mom, you're about to go on this vacation with your new boo-boo boyfriend. How about you let us go see our grandparents? And it just so happened that they started getting emails from the grandparents about 3 weeks prior. And the mom kind of begrudgingly says, all right. And that's where the movie really that's actually where the movie starts. And I'm not going to lie to you guys and say this was a fantastic film because it sure as hell was not. This was not like an A++. No! But I really liked what M. Night Shyamalan was clearly trying to do. And in my opinion, he fucking accomplished that. He wanted to make a unique movie that had his kind of own style to it. And, by gummit, he did it. And he did a great job of making it. And I really enjoyed the effort that you could tell that these actors were trying to put into it. I mean, these child actors were just phenomenal. And the actors who played the grandparents. Oh man, that you're gonna find some people who are gonna say, "Oh, the actor who played the creepiest people." You're gonna think of Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. You might think of Johnny Depp in his new role in Black Mass because the way he played Whitey Bulger was pretty damn creepy. These grandparents, oh man, that was a whole other fucking level. That was intense, to say the least. I mean, right off the bat, the way the grandparents were introduced, the way they met the kids, I mean, the first 9 minutes of the movie, just bam, shit got real, and you knew something was up. And that's another thing is I really like the pacing of The Visit because The Visit starts off with, as I said, the mother's like, "Hey, all right, I'll let you guys go." They meet the grandparents, and then things just keep escalating. And now, normally in horror movies, at least in bad ones, the pacing kind of gets slowed down. You could make that argument for this movie that the pacing does slow down. I do not think so. I think that the gaps between the things that happen are absolutely necessary for character development. And not to mention, it really puts you in the kid's seat of fear because it is the children that are experiencing all of this fear. And I think with the camera work, with the great child actors, you truly experience that really just fucking weird awkwardness and that kind of like you feel uncomfortable watching this. See, that to me is hard to do. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, you can feel uncomfortable watching a lot of things. Yeah, anybody feels uncomfortable watching Hostel. You just saw someone's fingers get pried apart. But this movie pulls it off with nothing being shredded, no crazy amounts of gore. This was not like a big wow factor. This was something that was done through pure emotion and raw feeling, which I know emotion and feeling are the same, but come on, bear with me. You genuinely feel that, like, just what the fuck? And, in a lot of movies, that's kind of easy to pull off again, with the gore or maybe like big action movies. But this doesn't have that. And it's just really like, it's weird and creepy and sometimes a little funny and just, oh man. It's almost like you're watching yourself go through puberty. It's just like, what the fuck? But anyway, so the big question is this M. Night Shyamalan's return? I'm honestly not sure because this was not backed by studios. I like to think that based off how much money this movie's made, because he made this for dirt cheap. From what I heard, it cost less than I think like $2 million. And I want to say, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I can't remember exactly how much it did make, but considering it was a fairly wide release, I think it made, I'd say at least $50 million now. Hold on a minute. I'm currently having one of my producers bring it up for me. Tony, everybody. He's a great sound guy. Next week, we will have Tony and the Adrian because, as you all know, a big wide load like myself, we need a sounding board. All right, highest paid. U.S. Bureau of Engraving. Jesus Christ, man. Why are you on the government websites? This is called The Visit, not The Visit from the FBI or the CIA or or some kind of crap like that. All right, so Tony can't find it, but listen, at home, folks, genuinely, I'm sure you can Google it real quick. The Visit. You can find out how much it made. Tony, Wikipedia that thing. All right, or not. Anyway, so is it return to form? I like to think it is because M. Night started off with some magnificent movies. We all loved Unbreakable. Box office, $52.1 million. There you go. Excuse me. Against a budget of $5 million. All right, sorry guys. Back to the budget real quick. So the budget was $5 million, and it made a $52.1 million. Now, if you're including marketing, they say you can generally double the budget. Now, for this movie, because of how small this movie was technically, I highly doubt they sank $5 million more dollars into marketing. I highly doubt that. I'd say 2.5. Because if you remember, there's only 2 trailers, and this movie was originally screened in late August for a limited audience. And they actually didn't think it was that bad a movie, and I personally don't. With that being said, though, you just had a $5 million movie, let's say $7.5 million budget, against a $51.25 million release. Congratulations, M. Night. You just made a ridiculous amount of profit off of almost nothing. And all it took was a really unique trailer. I mean, this was a good movie, but let's be honest, everybody. When that trailer hit, the rules they had and the whole "get in the oven, dearie," everyone was like, "Holy shit!" Because no one knew what to expect from this movie. So a lot of people were like, "All right, this is M. Night. He's done, but I'll see him anyway." And a lot of other people were like, "I just want to see that bitch get into the oven." And I actually knew people who said to me, Dylan, I'm going to see this movie just because I want to see that girl get into the oven. I'm like, that's fucked up. But yeah, I want to see that too. And, you know, again, I'm not sure if this is his great return, but I will say this. Perhaps he can go back to making movies before the studios got involved. I mean, genuinely think back. Unbreakable. That was his idea. That was a unique idea. And Samuel Jackson and Bruce Willis. That was just awesome. I mean, that was a fun movie. All right, no, not fun is not the right word. It was a good movie. All right, you cannot watch Unbreakable and think, boy, he's a security guard walking around the sports stadium. That's fun. No, but it was a good movie. It was a unique idea, and I enjoyed it. And then, of course, there was The Sixth Sense. A lot of people consider that to be almost a perfect movie from a cinematography standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint. You can even argue dialogue from the acting. Oh my gosh. Bruce Willis actually acting, and not the Kevin Smith way. I mean, this was Bruce Willis really trying. And Haley Joel Osment, I know a lot of people are like, oh, he hasn't done shit. Actually, he has. There's a show on Amazon Prime. It is called... Oh, what's it called? Hold on. Let me think. Thank you, Tony, my wonderful producer, ladies and gentlemen. Look up Haley Joel Osment, Amazon Prime. It's a very funny show. The producers, no. Hold on, all right, we got the computer up. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what we can find. No, not sex ed. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? No. Hold on a minute. No, Tony. It was like one of those Amazon Prime shows. It had John Goodman in it. Not the Judges. Come on. What was that stupid show? That was actually a really funny show. I really enjoyed it. No. What?
It's okay. This is a trial run. I'll get better at it eventually.
Okay. No. But not the Tudors. That's that one show with the guy who tried to off himself. Son of a bitch. Hold on a minute. Type in John Goodman, Amazon Prime. That's going to bring up, he was the main character of the show. I mean, come on. Haley Joel Osment, I actually should have realized this. He actually played a minor role. Alpha House. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. So yeah, if you're looking for a little more recent Haley Joel Osment that's not involving sex ed, because let's be honest, that dude looks like a gigantic child. Go watch Alpha House. It's very funny. But yeah, Sixth Sense, though, that was a fantastic fucking movie. And then you had Signs, and people were like, all right, cool idea. I personally like Signs. I don't have anything against it. I know a lot of people didn't like the ending because the whole water shtick and the way, the guy was like grappling the kid with the fucking spike sticking out of his wrist. I still enjoyed Signs quite a bit. And then things got weird with The Village. No, wait, hold on. Which one came first, The Village or The Lady in the Water? I'm pretty sure The Village was 2004 and Lady in the Water was 2005. I may be having that mixed up. But let's go ahead and check it out because, once again, my great producer, Tony. All right, Lady in the Water was 2006. I'm pretty sure The Village was 2004 because I was 12 years old. My brother had an illegal picked up copy. Yeah, all right. So, and then things got weird with The Village. Now, if y'all remember, the trailer for The Village really pissed off a lot of people. And I mean, fucking pissed off people. That was supposed to be a scary movie. That's how it was let in. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, there are monsters. And, you guys remember that scene? It kind of began, you got that one retarded-looking kid stand up. He's like, my back's to the village. My back's to the village. Yeah. His back's to the woods or whatever. And they're kind of all cackling and shit. I was like, all right, this is going to be a scary movie. I was 12 years old. I was like, yeah, let's see the scary. Nope. Not what happened at all. That movie. I didn't really care for that movie too much. I thought The Village was just... I was not thrilled with it. And then there was Lady in the Water. And I was like, all right, I feel like we're at the point where M. Night Shyamalan is just kind of like stroking his own ego with the way about the writer and then how he plays the writer. It's like, all right, dude, you're kind of really getting ahead of yourself since your last two movies were pretty questionable. And I respect that the story for Lady in the Water, he actually made up and told his kids as a bedtime story. And the mythology in The Lady in the Water is actually really interesting to me. It's weird, but as all mythology starts off, it's always weird. I actually thought it was fucking fascinating. You got the monsters and you got like the weird wolf thing. But I just don't think it made that good of a movie. I mean, I felt like you could make like a short novel, or maybe not a kid's novel because that seems pretty advanced, but just something different, or maybe just take it in a completely different direction. But I mean, Paul Giamatti, I feel like if you look at his face through a lot of the movie, and Paul Giamatti, by the way, is a fantastic fucking actor. If you look at his face, like, look at him whenever M. Night's character is talking, he's like blank faced. Paul Giamatti, in any other role that I've watched him, he's never had that look of I just don't give a shit. Fuck these animals. Can I just get a gun, please, and just shoot them? I'm serious. What if you have to watch a movie for any reason, look at Paul Giamatti's face, and you're gonna see that one scene whenever they're all near the stairs. By the way, interesting choice of location, where M. Night's talking for like 6 minutes. No, not six, probably like 3, and Paul's just like, okay, so we're gonna save the lady in the water, right? And Rosamund Pike is like, when's Jurassic World coming out? Oh, that's 9 years from now. Fuck all this shit. Notice how she hasn't worked with M. Night Shyamalan since The Village and Lady in the Water. There's a reason for it. Because even she was like, when you started off, you were kind of cool, but now you kind of suck. Almost kind of like... No, not Vanilla Ice. Everyone knew Vanilla Ice was gay since he first came out. Who started off cool and then everyone kind of hated? Who started off... One Direction. When that shit came out, everybody loved One Direction. And now they don't. Do you know why? Because he sucked the whole time. Whereas M. Night Shyamalan, I don't think he sucked the whole time. I just think with his stories, it is very hit or miss. I mean, this is just either this movie and the idea is awesome, or the idea is awesome and the movie's kind of shit. But, honestly though, for M. Night Shyamalan, I like how he kind of took a break between movies, because let's be honest, Avatar, The Last Airbender, that's whenever he was like, yeah, this was my interpretation of the movie. You called your character Ong. You did not introduce Katara or Sokka. They were wooden acting. The dialogue was shit. No, M. Night Shyamalan. Well, here's what happened. You feigned interest in making a kids movie. Nickelodeon jizzed you a load of money, and you said thank you. All right. But with that being said, though, we've went over what he's done right. We've went over what he's done wrong. So to wrap up, the question is, has M. Night Shyamalan returned? I believe this is a positive sign that he has returned. I think going from the future of now, without studio interference, without pressure from outside people, whenever it's just him, he can make a quality, solid film. But it needs to be his own stuff. It needs to be his own idea. I honestly want him to work with someone like, not Universal, maybe like Miramax. Miramax is known for kind of letting directors kind of go around, aka Kevin Smith. I want him to work with like Harvey Weinstein or Miramax, which I'm pretty sure the two are almost the same now, and just kind of give them the money, be like, all right, we want our money back, but go do your thing. I think he works better whenever he's just kind of on his own, because again, Unbreakable, he was kind of on his own. The Visit, he was on his own. And I would like The Visit. If you haven't seen The Visit yet, please go see The Visit. It was directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It has some magnificent acting. I really enjoyed the surprises, the twists. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to Know It All 20's. I'm Dylan, and I'm in my 20s, and I do believe I know it all. Welcome back from our commercial break. My name is Dylan, and this is Know It All 20's. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to shift from movies to sports. Now listen, I'm a St. Louis man, born and raised, and my earliest memories are watching the St. Louis Rams, so I'm a diehard Rams fan. Now, it's 2016, people. This is supposed to be the make or break year. Let's talk about the first 2 weeks of Rams football. The way we played against Seahawks was phenomenal. I mean, that game was intense, it was hard hitting, and I feel like the Rams defense truly stepped up their game. Actually, you know what? I can't even say that. I just feel like the Rams defense stepped up. We had 6 sacks in week 1, all right? 2 by the wrecking ball of Aaron Donald, 2 by the black lightning of Robert Quinn. I mean, this game, ladies and gentlemen, was just fantastic. I mean, we had our third string running back go up. We had our third string running back step up because we lost Trey Mason and Todd Gurley. His name is Benjamin Cunningham. Now, this man had 16 carries, 45 yards. I know what you're all thinking. That doesn't really mean anything. It was only 45 yards. Check this out. Had 4 receptions for 77 yards. That man, when we needed him, Benjamin Cunningham came through. When we needed Stedman Bailey, he came through. When we needed Jared Cook, they came through. See, that's just it. Last year, our big problem was consistency. And in the first game, our receivers were catching the ball, and we were making plays when necessary. Now, I know what you're thinking. We had that fumble by Nick Foles, and that sucked. But, shit does happen. And let's not forget the Seahawks, even though they're 0-2 right now, the Seahawks are still an incredibly formidable team. And in week 1, sometimes, I honestly thought we were gonna come off slow. My goodness, how wrong I genuinely was. I mean, our team overall played very well against the Seahawks, and we won in overtime. So I thought to myself, wow, this is the first time, and I can remember as a lifelong Rams fan, that we beat a division in week 1 over the defending NFC championships, the Seahawks. And I was just so proud. And then in week 2, we went up against the Washington Redskins. Now, the Redskins, ever since the preseason, have had all these problems with the quarterback, RG3, Kirk Cousins, Colt McCoy. And everyone's like, oh, they suck. And I'll be honest with you, maybe I should have looked into it more. I was like, okay, this team sucks. With the way we just played against Seahawks, we should beat the shit out of them. What the hell? They not only manhandled us, that offensive line straight up beat the shit out of our defensive line. Now, we are arguably in the top 3, by many people, the number 1 defensive line. We should not be manhandled like that, but we were. And I was so confounded. Don't get me wrong, the plays of everyone else bothered me. But the way our defense and their offensive line clashed, I was so confounded, and I was so angry that I went home, I looked up this. The Washington Redskins now have the Dallas Cowboys' former offensive lines coach. Now, I'd like to remind you, this is the same offensive line that made DeMarco Murray a career year, and currently DeMarco Murray is playing like shit in Philadelphia. Do you know why? Because he doesn't have the Cowboys' offensive line, and he doesn't have that coach. Now you know who does have that? The Redskins. The Redskins they played so well against us. And Kirk Cousins, you know what? Give it up for that man. That man played almost flawless football. I mean, honestly, nobody saw this coming. And this kid, Matt Jones. We kept Marshawn Lynch, beast mode, to 70-something yards last game. We kept Alfred Morris to 59. This kid, Matt Jones, 123 yards on 19 carries and 2 touchdowns with a long run of 39 yards. What the fuck? Where did this come from? And I was just so confused and kind of frustrated that the Rams got swept by this. But this is something that's interesting that I did find one statistic. It was on some NFC West blog. How many of you knew that every time the Seahawks lose, every single time, the team that beat them loses the next week? I thought that was very interesting. What that says to me is that the team that beat them put all of their basically life force, they gave it their all to beat the snot out of the Seahawks, that they were that tired. Now I know what you're thinking, well, Dylan, they had a week off. If you fight against Titans, you're going to feel a little tired for a few weeks. And that's what I honestly think happened. I thought the St. Louis Rams went to the Redskins and were like, all right, you guys are a shit team. We just beat the Seahawks. We're going to beat the shit out of you. And the Redskins were like, we'll see about that. So in the first 2 weeks, I am, like most Rams fans, very apprehensive. We beat one great team, and then we lost to a shit team. Almost like the Cardinals or St. Louis Blues, which is kind of funny. So listen, folks, don't lose faith yet. I honestly think that the better things are to come. I think the St. Louis Rams can still win. For some weird reason, I believe we can make the playoffs. I genuinely believe that there is hope that we can still make the playoffs. Whereas the Redskins, I have no idea what to think, because I feel like they shocked everybody. So I know this wasn't exactly the wrap up or the segment you were all looking for of me saying what the hell, but sometimes that's the thing about the NFL. My dad used to say any given Sunday, and it's true. Any given Sunday. The Redskins are 1-1, the Seahawks are 0-2, and the Giants are 2-0. Let that sink in for 30 seconds. Well, listen, I want to thank you all very much. Thank you for tuning in for 20 Knows It All. My name is Dylan. Have a great day. Cut.